There we go.
Oh, great. Welcome everyone to our meeting today, Chimes and Lights. We're going to get started right away with our event application. I know you've been working hard on it, you guys. Are you all done?
We submitted on Friday, and so the application itself was submitted, and then we also submitted the Bay Street closure to WashDOT on Friday. And so with the application, just kind of wanted to go over just a couple quick things. So we did not put the Pooch and Purr Parade on there because we haven't heard back on if there was going to be one or not, or if anybody was going to be sponsoring that. And then, so we put, sorry, let me just pull it up here. I think one of the biggest things is we had a meeting with the chief, I don't know, last week or the week before, to kind of go over some of the things on the application. And one of the biggest things was to recommend actually closing a Bay Street from, I think that's DeKalb or Klein down there, all the way to Harrison, and close that entire street. So that's what we submitted to WashDOT, and that's how the application was submitted. And I think some of the concerns with that were having, either the bands or Santa and the fire truck going down the road, and if they're going to be going down Sydney Avenue, or if they were going to be kind of turning up by Kitsap Bank. But I think one of the concerns was the mix of pedestrians and traffic, and to make sure we don't have that mix. And so that was his suggestion. With that, Bill, he's actually coming by quite often, just kind of asking, what's going on, what's the status of everything. And so I told him that. So he said, just to kind of as friendly reminders, that if the Bay Street is closed to Harrison, then, Rockwell would be the detour, because they'd have to route people up Rockwell. If for any reason the weather is bad or icy or really cold, they would have to close Rockwell because it is such a steep road. He says, so just keep that in mind. Yeah. He also said they do not like sending semi trucks up Rockwell because of the steep grade and how small it is. So he just said, keep that in mind, that again, Rockwell might be not a good idea for semis. Then we might have to figure out a truck route to have semis go to. And then I think that's, yeah. So Bill just wanted me to make sure that I relay that information back to the committee.
So I didn't really want to have that extensive of a closure. I don't think we need to. I think that we could have the band and Santa turn down, say, Fredericks or one of those side streets there, and just have that be the thoroughfare. The band does not need to go all the way to the waterfront. Santa does, but the band would not need to. So the band can disperse back in those parking lots back there. And I'm sure that we could have, we've done this before, and I think that that would be quite safe. And then we'd still have parking that would be allowed, and we wouldn't need to have that closure all the way over. I think we've talked about that closure being kind of a very tricky thing to do. Yeah, so, oh, good. So here we have, I think Fredericks would work. That is right. The band can go back to that parking lot area, and they can basically disperse. And most of the people will end up walking back to where they gathered in the first place, which is by the boat launch. That's where the band assembles, is by the boat launch. Then Santa can be escorted all the way back into the area by the gazebo. Right. And for that short period of time, there will be no buses running at that time any longer. The buses stop running, I think John said, at 5 or 5:30. So we won't have any buses coming through there. So that will actually be closed off on the other side. And that's a safe route to take Santa to the gazebo, where we're planning on having him hang out for a bit. So we don't need to have that extensive of a road closure if we're having everybody turn left 1 block earlier than Sydney.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to say that we just did the worst case scenario to WashDOT and to the city just because of our timeline. And it
Yes,
doesn't mean that we can't adjust it for safety
Right.
reasons. So obviously the chief's going to come back and say, hey, you know, you can, if you can do this, it would lessen the safety. And so therefore you don't need the full road closure. And Janine, can you remind me, did we reach out to Tony Public Works? Because Tony said that Public Works could handle the traffic control, so we didn't need to hire a third party to
Yes.
man the traffic control. And
Awesome.
it's my
Yes.
understanding that if we would have closed Sydney, or excuse me, if we would have left Sydney open and we were going to have the band and the fire truck go through, that would have been more than Tony's team can handle. So that's why we said, hey, we need to do the full closure to lessen the load on Public Works. But
Right.
if it's only the fire truck that's going through there, I'm almost positive Tony can have somebody there letting them through, stop traffic for that little bit. I think the concern was that we were going to have a bunch of people come through here, meaning the band and the truck and the kids that are following behind. But if
Right.
it's the truck and the band
Right.
disperses, because
Right.
didn't the chief, Janine, say that it was okay if everybody dispersed here on Sydney?
Yeah, because he said right where the little hand is on here, that's
Yeah.
where the closure is.
If
So
everybody came here and dispersed, that's fine, but we knew that, we thought that Santa was coming through a fire truck of some sort and you can't just disperse, right? And he
Well,
didn't
Brandy,
wanna
it'll be,
open this up.
people
go
will
ahead.
disperse not at that corner. They will actually take a left. Am I calling it right? Is it Frederick right here
Yeah,
between?
yeah.
Okay,
Well, that's what we assumed originally, but it sounds
Yeah.
like that, we're just gonna, you guys are gonna divert everybody up to Frederick and then
yes.
come down here, the
And
band
then
will disperse.
There'll be no issue for anyone that's wanting to continue on. There's going to be pedestrian traffic back there anyway, because the port is having a lot of displays. And basically the only traffic that really should be going in and out of that area would be mostly
Oh,
employees at that point.
Okay.
A lot of the parking will still be opened over here off of Harrison. And we've, quite truthfully, we had done this for years, and it was
Yeah.
fine and safe. Yeah, let's not have that extended traffic closure, because that's just a nightmare then. Yeah, that's just
He
too.
may still
hassle.
want to close Harrison here because he doesn't want the mix. But he did say that if we left Harrison open, it's all contingent on if the buses are going to be running. So we already know that the buses aren't going to be running at that time. So we could leave Harrison open to allow this to be public parking. But what he does recommend is, because I did let him know that sometimes when Santa's here, the parking lot gets full, but it's also because we had the fire pits, we had other things going on. So if that's not happening and everything's taking place here, we would just need to make sure that the kids lining up to meet Santa has to stay on this boardwalk. And he said, if they stay on this boardwalk, he wants some sort of path from here to, or some sort of lighting that shows this is the path to Santa. So that way they're not enticing people to come out here to see Santa and have that traffic and pedestrian mix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I don't think that's hard at all.
Perfect. Okay.
I think that's really easy. And in fact, even a string of lights with a few of the Public Works kinds of barriers would be perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be easy to do and real safe. I think John said the last bus going through was 5 or 5:30. So that would be it. And I think that during the whole Chimes and Lights time, there was only 2 buses that needed to get through. So it's not a lot of traffic. It's very, very slight. And we'll just have to figure out, we probably don't want to block all the traffic from these few businesses right by the Peninsula feed.
Yeah.
I think that's okay to have traffic going in and out of there. If we want to block it, we might want to block it somewhere past the last Peninsula feed thing. We did for one event back Cedar Cove days, I think we actually blocked the area going straight forward, but we allowed the parking that used to be in front of Amy's.
Oh, right here.
You know what I mean? And then blocked it so they could not,
So they can travel through here. Right.
Well,
But
they
this
could,
would be blocked. We'd have barricades right here.
or you can block the traffic actually right past Peninsula Beverage. And then the traffic can go into this little parking lot here.
This way.
Or, yeah, to the left here, like, I'm just gonna use Amy's, it's easier to say.
Okay.
In front of Amy's, we allowed parking right in that whole area, but did
Okay.
not allow them then to exit at the back entrance, the waterfront entrance. So they kind of came and went right from that little opening right there. And then that's a lot of parking. And people didn't have to go through there. They were safe. They could go on this path. So I mean, that's one possibility of just blocking the traffic other than the buses, the 2 buses that need to get through, but have a barrier, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pointing to something you're not even seeing. So, would be Harrison basically, yes. Blocking it just past that so that people could access the parking lot, have the other side of the parking lot blocked. So they come back out the way they came in. And then there's,
go this way.
yes, so the traffic is contained just in that additional parking area. And pedestrian traffic is really more waterfront. And then if we have the lights there, I think that would be quite safe.
Cindy, this is
Yeah,
Corinne.
yeah.
Can I ask
Hi,
a question?
Oh,
So-
please.
So lot 1 and lot 2 are closed that night? The ones you got shaded? Are they closed? I mean, because it sounds like they are, because you're gonna have the band go back there, and
Well,
are they open for parking?
we've always allowed them for employee parking.
Okay,
And I haven't heard what the police chief says about this, but we've always allowed that and just told people that there's not a lot of movement,
Right,
once you
exactly.
get in there. But
Yeah.
that was always the deal, is that the employees could park back there and there would be
Right.
no issue whatsoever.
right. That's really important. I mean, to any of the downtown businesses, but as long as they know from a certain time to a certain time, they can't leave those plots. Parking
That-
lots.
Here.
Right. And it's starting, a bit later, 3:30.
So
So-
3:30 is when the parking, so what time is Festival of Chimes and Lights? Is it at 8 or 7? I'm
The
sorry, I've
actual-
missed several meetings, so.
That's okay. The actual tree lighting takes place at 5:30.
Okay,
And the choirs and everything started at 3:30.
okay,
We actually say the event is 3:30, no, 3 to 7:30 is what we list on the advertising.
okay. All right, so it's during those periods of time, whoever's parked back there will have to stay pretty tight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yes, they have to get there before we close the road, and then they have to stay there until after we open it up.
Right. Although,
There may
right,
be a one-off if they're coming out, but that's gonna be up to Public Works here, and I think that they're only gonna have somebody just come in and let the fire truck in, and then, or Santa
Yeah.
in.
well,
and that's
technically,
it, But
they could, even when the streets close, before the whole shebang starts, they could access, well, depends on what you just said about Harrison. They could access from Harrison along the library to the back parking lots, but
they
you're
can come
thinking,
through here. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can come through this way
Yeah.
if they need to get to the library. And
Yeah.
the Sydney will be open, so really.
They can get
could
out.
come-
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
can
can
get
go
out
in
on Sydney.
Here.
okay, sure.
Mhm.
That's always the number one questions
Yep.
of merchants and,
Yes.
not just staff for the market, but everybody downtown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, this was all planned with that in mind.
Mhm.
Trying to have the least disruption to the businesses, really.
Right, okay. Okay, good. That answered my question.
Mhm. And then what we do is, if the police chief wants to have that area lit, I don't think that's that big of a deal to run some kind of little barrier along the waterfront and have lights on it. So it's a lit up pedestrian pathway that goes all the way to the gazebo.
Yeah.
So, and we aren't having fire pits this year, so we're not worried about all of that. But
Is
there,
that clear enough, Janine, for you to send off to have Christian update this map?
Yep,
I don't think there's
absolutely.
much that needs to be updated, but if we
Yeah.
can get Christian to update this, because and then why we're discussing it here and why I'm here tonight is to make sure that we all understand what this map is going to look like, because this, what we talk about tonight, it'll get updated, and then I send this off to the traffic control people to develop a plan that
Yes,
Public Works will follow. So that's the main thing, is to,
okay,
we submitted the worst case, and then because we didn't have a meeting
yes,
before the deadline.
right,
And so I thought we'll submit worst case, and then I'm sure the chief's gonna come in and say, because of these, we need to modify it to this, which will
Right.
be the plan that we're gonna submit. So, okay.
so, and then Brandy, included in the traffic control plan is possibly allowing some occasional cars out of lot 1 and 2 if need be. By that barrier there, they would just be going on Sydney out, so it's kind of a one-way only.
Right, and we're gonna clarify that with Tony. He said
Yes.
he can handle the traffic control
Yes,
plan. So we
Yeah.
want to confirm, what does that mean? Does that mean that he's gonna have somebody here, a certified flagger, directing traffic in and out to, well, out?
right, yes.
Or in, maybe they can
Whatever.
come in and out. We'll get
Mhm.
some more information from, he's out this week, but when he gets
Okay.
back next week, we'll confirm that our interpretation of him managing the traffic flow is that he's
Mhm.
having a certified flagger stand here and direct incoming traffic. It's just gonna be limited to, whatever that list is, employees only or whatever. It's not gonna be available to the public. What is it called, for local access only? I don't know if that's the direct term, but.
Right.
that's what we'll
And
have
then that way employees will be able to utilize that. And basically what we'll be saying is all traffic will to the waterfront from Harrison, that will be blocked. There is no access except for those 2 or 3 Kitsap transit buses being allowed through. That will actually turn into that pedestrian access area with the lighting that we're talking about.
Okay.
That will keep everyone really safe. And there will be no buses after the tree lighting, which is when it's darker, and that would be probably the most concern during that period of time. But that'll be completely closed then through traffic. So except for Santa's fire truck, which it'll be obvious that, he's moving through there. But then, yeah, I think that's the best plan, you guys. I don't see semis or anything going up Rockwell. That's a very steep grade, and we don't need to have that. I think everyone's so much happier when we have this situation like this. And it's still great. The band, again, I'll talk to Gary about that, can start dispersing really right after they get past the buildings right there.
So those.
And then they can go left and get back to the area where the boat launch area, which is where they
So this
loaded.
green route here, you think would be good for the band?
Yeah, but we don't even have to note it. I mean, we can tell them because they're going to be on foot. They're just going to be meeting their pals wherever. I think sometimes they just go back to City Hall and walk up the hill wherever they've parked, or
So
most
we
of them
can just have it one way this way, and then, so take out this line here, because they're not gonna be diverting back. So we need to take out this green line here,
Yes,
because it's not gonna be a loop, it's a one direction, and then. they'll just-
Correct.
Okay,
correct. The band does not go back at all.
Okay.
The individual players will just meet
Right.
their friends and all. Mhm.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so it actually gets less complicated. It's really only Santa and some people on foot heading over to the gazebo.
Okay.
And along the way, of course, will be the beautiful displays at the port and the lighted boats, Christmas Lane. So that's still going. And so there's plenty to see back there. And it'll be a lot of lighting. I think it's quite safe. I don't know what we'll do if we end up with a pet parade, but you know what? We could work with the closures we already have.
Okay.
And I don't see any issues at all. We could have a little tiny pet parade marching through the town area there. But it's not likely that we'll have one if we haven't heard yet. Okay, that's it.
Cindy, who was maybe going to do the pep parade?
We talked about Simply Irresistible.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was it. So you just haven't heard back from her?
Who contacted her? I don't know who had that on their list.
That
Was
one was Kathleen. Do you mind if I just pop out really quickly and I'll go ask her? She had to be on the desk at this moment, so I can be
Oh,
right
we'd love that, Emmon. Thank you. Okay, good.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind following up with her. I know Melanie really well.
Okay.
You know, I mean, when we did the pet parade, the chamber a million years ago, you know, we did it down the closed road, you know, from the drive-through to the corner and back. But there's, you know, you could, I mean, there's lots of places you could do it.
I'd
you
love
could
it on
just-
Bay Street.
Well, that's the best place for it, but you could do it just before, you know, the other activity. So, because the tree lighting's at 5:30, is that what you said?
Yeah, and then so that the ceremony starts right at 5 or so.
Yeah, so you could do it, yeah, about, you know, you could do it at 4:30. It doesn't take that long.
No, and that would be great. I'd really like to bring that back. People
Yeah.
love.
I loved it. I loved that. That was the, you know, I started it when I was at the chamber, but
Okay.
we just don't have enough. We don't have enough volunteers with PubSub, but let's see what Melanie says and I'll follow up with her too. So,
Okay. Okay, that would be cool. And maybe a Rotary group, Corinne, could help with
do you know any Rotary groups?
that or something, you know? We know a couple of Rotary groups, so. Hi, Emmett.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
so Kathleen said that they did actually get back to her and they're in.
Okay, good. Perfect. Good.
They're actually gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't have very many details. I'm a little, but she said that they were excited about it.
Oh, that's really fun.
Good. Good.
Okay, so we'll work on a route that's suitable for everyone. And I do think Bay Street. I mean, if we're gonna have something like that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. I'll
Oh,
chat with Melanie
fun.
too. I mean, she did the one, what was
Yeah.
it she did it for? She did when did she do it? Oh, she did it for Ladies Derby Days. So, but that
Okay.
was along the pedestrian pathway. So, but, yeah, good. I'm glad she's going to do it. It's a cute event.
Me too. Oh, good. We'll add that now, and we'll have to add another sponsor in there. Now, let's get it. Corinne, you can help us with this. I know. So she would seek prizes. Is that what she would do for the various categories? Is that?
That's how I did it. But you know, I mean, since I've done it, the Humane Society did. I mean, several different groups have done it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what she did this last spring. You need to have some kind of prizes.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay. Well, Corinne, if you can kind of give her a call and report back,
Yeah.
we'll see what we need to do to help her out with this.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when I was doing it, again, that was a long time ago. You know, several of the vets and the pet stores, I mean, it was fairly easy to get donations, but times are a little different now. So,
Yeah. Right. Okay. And
okay.
you know what?
I'll
It's
talk
kind
with
of-
Melanie.
Okay, good. Okay, Corinne's going to follow up with that. Well, yeah, you guys, that's another event. Yeah, Corinne, just FYI. So the schedule from 2019 had
Uh-huh.
4:30 to 5 o'clock is when the parade took place, the holiday
Yeah.
Pooch and Cruise.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's a good timing.
Okay, I'm gonna confirm that is on. Okay, cool. You guys, that's wonderful news. Okay.
Probably
Okay.
a quick and easy scheduling thing to take care of. I did book a magician for the library's activities, but
Oh.
I booked him for much earlier since I thought we were starting a bit earlier. He's at 2. Is that too early?
Okay.
Is that okay?
You know what? Emma, it's really hard to hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me all right now?
Yes.
He's
So you-
booked for 2 o'clock. Is that too early? Do you need me to move him back?
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock for the musician.
Magician.
Oh, the magician. Oh, yeah. Okay. Huh. Let's see. When did we have them last time? The magician. Oh, yeah. You know what? That's what we had last time. Is it Jeff Evans again?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Last time we had it 2 to 2:45, but we don't have the street closures going until a bit later this year. So what about everybody? Maybe would it be too hard to book them a little bit later?
I can see about moving them. And just Rita, so you know, you're actually unmuted at the moment. So I can go ahead and try and see if I can shift him a little bit later. Would 3 o'clock be better? Or
Yes.
do we want to go all the way to 3:30?
Well, 3 o'clock is when we're saying the event starts. You know what? 3:30 is probably 3:30 is probably better. I bet a lot of the bugs will be worked out with the closures and things by then. So if you can do 3:30, do you usually do, I'm trying to see how long you had last time. Is it 1 or 2 hours?
It's usually 1.
1?
He doesn't have a very long show, but it's an exciting one.
Let's do 3:30 then. So
All right.
3:30 to 4:30?
I'll check with him.
Okay. And if it had to be 3, that's fine enough.
All
But I'll
right.
put down 3:30.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Cool. Well, thank you. This is great news. Okay. Are you guys going to have crafts too, Emin, at the library?
Yes. I
What time
haven't
did-
figured out what that's going to be yet, but we usually run that for the entire time that we don't have an active performer happening. So
Okay.
whenever I can get Jeff to move to, we'll have it for the rest of the time. Usually 10 to 2 is a pretty solid time for us to have it, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
But we may start a little later if it's okay.
You know what? That's better. I think actually, if we are drawing people downtown later and closer to the event, that's better for traffic control and everything.
Maybe
Just
move
for-
to 3 instead.
Yes.
Great. All right. And I think I will try to get an extra choir in too, because Cedar has a new choir director from St. Olaf, no less. And she's really eager to try to jump in. So if I can fit her in, I'll just, if I can't fit her into somewhere else in the schedule, I will put her at the library for a performance.
Okay. Can you confirm? So do we have Marcus Whitman Jr.,
Yes.
High Gold and Blazer choirs? So I guess those are 2.
So we have everybody except for the community chorale. So we have the high school, we have Marcus, and we have EPO.
Okay, you got EPO. Let me confirm that. So we'll have to get them on a schedule. And Marcus, we have now. Marcus, it looked like there was 2 choirs. We have both of those, the gold and the blazer.
So that's one choir, but they've also changed their names, and they're just the Marcus Whitman choir now, I believe.
Okay, can you confirm that? Because we're working on scheduling and we want to get correct information.
Yep,
So-
and I actually have confirmed times with them based on their previous slots, so I will send that to you as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and so, but we haven't heard back still from the Kitsap Community Chorale.
That's right. They have a new director, and I haven't been able to contact her.
That's Sadie. Okay. They were pretty involved in helping to lead some of the sing-alongs and things. So yeah, it would help to find out. And I did contact the person that's lining up pipers. And I asked for some solid commitments and times. I haven't gotten it yet, but she's working on that. So maybe in place of the Kitsap Community Chorale, it will be pipers. I mean, we could maybe go that route if we need to, considering that this is the Scottish event. That might be kind of fun. So if we don't hear back from them, that would probably be the good place for these pipers. And there's also some dancers too. I think there's going to be like a Highland Fling or something. So we'll be working that in to some schedule. In the next weeks, let's see, we're here August. So by September, the middle of September, we'll try to get these scheduled, find out who's going to be there and what schedule, what time frame they'll be involved in.
Okay, I can forward that to you now. It's all solid except for the chorale, who I just can't get.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that work. Really appreciate it. Oh, let's see here. Portable toilets. Do we want to go back to that? And how many do we have to end up getting?
So per those requirements on the special event application through, I think it was FEMA, we needed 25 portable toilets. So I talked to Kathy Garcia at the port to find out how many they would have available and open to the public. And so after talking to her, we still needed to get I pulled up the email, just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so yeah, we needed 19 additional toilets, and so we reached out to Hemley's Handy Cans. And so to get a quote to find out how much it would be, so to get 16 portable toilets and 3 ADA portable toilets, the great grand total, so 19 total, so the great grand total of everything, including pickup and delivery, and the hand sanitizers that come with them came to 1,680. And it's my understanding, after talking to the Brandy, that we can purchase these with the current budget.
Okay, without having to get rid of anything else?
I believe so. But
Okay.
yeah, I see Brandy. I don't know if you wanted to. Oh,
Yeah, so it'll just take a budget amendment. I take that back. It may take a budget amendment. It just depends on when NOAA finalizes the 2022 numbers.
Okay,
But it's within the mayor's authority to go ahead and get those procurement wise. We meet the threshold to go ahead and move forward. So it'll just be truing up the numbers at the end of the year. The council's made it very clear that they're supportive of their own event. And
Yes.
yeah, it's it's a big expense, but in retrospect, it's minor compared to our electrical fix a few years ago, right?
right.
We're good.
Got it. Do you know, you guys, did you count on the public restrooms that are downtown? You minus those. So you're basically saying there's 6 toilets available with what we have downtown now, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And then where are they going to be put? And
That's
then
what I was
Sharon-
getting ready to comment. So did you want to finish, Janine, or since you know
oh yeah. So actually worked. Wow, that sounded strange. I was talking to somebody over at Kitsap Bank. So we're actually going to place, so the parking lot that is right on the other side of Robert Geiger, right off of Bay Street. So that's owned by Kitsap Bank.
Yes.
And they said that we can, where the CrossFit gym is, we can line up portable toilets along all those stalls with the back towards CrossFit, and also right across the street at the Port of Bremerton parking lot. I think it's by Hank's Sheet Metal. We can have a line of portable toilets back there as well.
Could. Okay. And those
and then
aren't,
we're going to have a couple at the gazebo area, right?
The gazebo area, yes.
Space it out throughout where people are going to be gathering. So
okay. Okay. So the CrossFit parking lot, and then over by, let's see, the gazebo. Good. And then by sheet metal. Okay, that sounds good, you guys. I think that's going to work out really well.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of porta potties.
it is a lot of porta potties.
Sharon, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment because I happened to drive through the area this morning because I wanted to count the number of porta potties that the cruise folks brought in. And they didn't have near what you're looking at here. They had 3 over and back of Peninsula Feed, 3 in back of the library, 1 regular and 1 handicap at Frederick, and then 2 regulars at the drive-through area. And that's all the cruise folks had.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sharon. I mean, there was way more people downtown yesterday than there will be for the tree lighting and the Festival of Chimes and Lights. I know when we do our figuring for night markets, we're counting, the market bathrooms, Josephine's bathroom, because they're open to the public, especially during a time like that. Can't remember where else we counted, but there was a lot less yesterday, that's for sure.
Oh, considerably.
So
And that's the recommendation coming from Kathy Garcia.
No, the portable toilet, I'm trying to pull up the application right now to get that language really quick. So just bear with me for 1 second. Oh, here we go.
the number of toilets is directly off of the application, which is what FEMA's recommendation is, which also is the health department's recommendation. So we're just going off what they're telling us that we have to have. And we're moving forward with what they're telling us. Now, if there's organizations that aren't meeting that guidelines, it's not within the city's authority to monitor or regulate that. If the event organizer says this is what they're having, and then the health district, when we have our recap meetings, or not us, but I believe Public Works and law enforcement and health district will have a recap meeting after every event. And if there's a comment in there that there was the lines were too long, or there was issues,
Yeah,
then that's where it's going to come into play. But I don't have any. I mean, we estimated around 2,500 people that would be there, and they're saying we need to have 25 toilets, and that's what we're going to plan for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if our event is structured different than theirs, meaning that our goal is to have 2,500 people all down there for 4 to 6 hours at a time. Or maybe the cruise is 2,500 people all throughout the day. I don't know what the difference is, but that's the only thing. I'm just grasping at straws. But yeah, it's the city's not going to be the enforcement. We're just saying, hey, this is a recommendation based off of FEMA and health district. And if somebody complains that they couldn't go to the restroom or they had some sort of sanitary issue or concern, I think it's going to be the health districts are going to come back and have conversations with the event organizers.
All right, it seems excessive.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a big jump. So up to 2012, and then what if you have 2050? You've got 25, you've got more than twice the amount. There should be another category in there or two. It's just not broken down well. And you know what? Everybody pays you guys. This is the public paying. This is taxpayers' money. So it's pretty, I would say, I don't care where it comes from, FEMA, you know, they're kind of loose about spending taxpayer money. There should be another category or two or whatever. I think that's really, plus there's another thing of where do you put them all? I mean, if we had 50 potties down there for 4,500 people, that isn't even common sense.
no,
You've got an event, the guys, that 4.5 hours. We're not talking about 2 days or something. We're talking about this little tiny bit of time. We're going to have to probably, as a city, really go back and just say, well, whatever. That's a lot of waste. But you know what? I guess that's not our issue for the moment.
You know, Janine, we didn't consider the library. I don't know if that would have to be a Kathleen comment or decision, just like we asked Kathy Garcia for the port. I mean, we could see if the library would allow us to use some of their restrooms. I mean, we didn't think about the library, and I don't know that we didn't think about canvassing the businesses either, because I know certain businesses don't have restrooms that are open to the public because of the code and requiring different restrictions when you have public restrooms versus non-public restrooms. So, I mean, we could do that too, and then reduce the number of Santa cans that we have.
Corinne, is the market bathrooms are actually open during that day for public use if they're not eating at the dock or something?
Yeah, you know what? They're closed normally, but during events and festivals like yesterday, there was no code needed. It's too busy downtown. I mean, we only lock them up because we have issues at time with homeless people and drugs and all that, but we always have them open on events or festivals.
And
So
will
we
they
can
be
use
open
the
for the
market too as well as-
duration?
Oh, sorry, Jeannie, go ahead.
Oh,
What?
sorry. I was just going to make sure that if we are counting those as public bathrooms, that they are open the entire duration. So till what, 7:30 in the evening?
Yeah, we're open till 9
Perfect.
during the winter. So yeah.
And
Yeah.
how many bathrooms does that count for? How do you measure bathrooms? Stalls?
I don't know. We have 3 stalls in the women's and let's see, 1 stall and 2 what are those urinals? I couldn't remember the name. And the men's. So yeah, so 3 and 3, I guess, is what we've got.
Okay, because you know that would be the same as going inside of a porta potty. Stalls.
Correct. Yeah, it's the number of stalls that you have. Yes.
Yeah,
We
so
just
that's
got rid
6
of-
stalls.
6 stalls there, and the bathrooms in the library. And then
you might ask Sam at Josephine's if she wants to have, well, hers are not locked anyways.
No.
but you should
Em-
check with
Ellen,
her.
how many bathroom stalls do you have at the library?
We have 2 available, but the library also closes at 5. So
It
that's
closes at
something to
5.
keep in mind.
Okay, yeah, that
You
is.
guys aren't gonna be open during the event from 5 to 7:30?
Not that I know of, but I would have to ask Kathleen.
Okay,
Okay, well, we can we can probably take the 6 off of that number, which would really help, because how much do they cost each? It's quite a bit each. So we would need you guys 10, 13 instead of the 19, even with that count.
yeah. And then if you want to email Sam, Janine, if you don't have her email, I have it, and ask her if she would like to, if she's doing anything for the event, and if so, if she's going to be open the whole time, if we can count her numbers as part of the public restroom count.
And
Perfect.
you've also got the stalls there at Peninsula Bevco that's in the hallway. It's not in the restaurant at all.
Okay.
Well, it is part of the restaurant, but I bet you they'd say yes to that. Sam may not be open till, well, I don't know.
7:30.
She might be open. She's, I mean, she's,
She'll do a,
she's
I
one
think
merchant.
she's gonna do a great business.
Yeah, she's one merchant you can count on for,
Mhm.
being open.
That
So, but
really
yeah,
would help a lot if we can cut down on those porta potties. We'll still have them in strategic locations, but I just think that that figure is pretty high, and that also assumes that people are going to be eating and drinking a lot, which isn't happening as much during the event because it's
Mm.
raining out. It's not like now where people are walking around with stuff and eating.
right.
So they'll be eating afterwards and maybe before, but yeah. So I think that then that would really make a difference, cutting that down a bit. I hate to see those stalls just sitting there and not even getting used at all. Yeah, I know that they have a measure for if there's people waiting in line, but do they have a measure for if a stall never gets used at all or hardly at all? They probably not. But anyway, I think this is really good problem solving, and that even cutting out those stalls right there, those 6 really will help, but we may be able to take it down a bit more. Sharon, thank you for that that information too. We're not trying to be, I know we're trying to be wise, in having resources available, but just not
Maybe
so.
that's why the crews reduced their numbers, is because they counted those as part of their numbers. I'm not quite sure, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And you
this is
can see-
helpful for us because we don't know. We haven't planned potties before, so.
Well, and the thing is too,
Library, oh,
if there actually is, are these restrooms available, then that does make a difference for the public. We don't probably have to provide all of those other ones. So, okay. Emma, you had something more to say.
yeah, the library will extend hours till 7 p.m. that day. And both of those bathrooms can be used openly.
Okay, we're down 8. So 25, we're down 8. Or actually, from Henley's, there were 19 ordered. So 11, and if Sam is gonna volunteer use, then we can subtract those 2. Now it's seeming right. It's seeming more reasonable and appropriate.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's,
you guys.
maybe that's what
Thank
that
you.
chart's for, is to include businesses on top of additional potties, maybe. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts on giving these businesses recognition, marketing? I don't know. Do you think that's just part of their normal business plan, or do you think there should be something extra that we should promote through the city's Facebook that kind of
Yeah,
like on?
You
I
don't
don't
need
know.
to.
I think it's
So
an
I wouldn't want
excellent
the
idea.
extra. I wouldn't want the extra. I don't need the extra promotion for the market. And I think Sam would probably feel the same way. I mean, I just do it because when crowds are downtown, it's
Yeah.
the thing to do. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think you need to call out
Okay.
bathrooms.
Okay.
yeah, and you don't want extra traffic if you don't want to, right?
Right. It's there, but you don't want to have an arrow pointing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Okay. So good. Question asked, question answered. All good. Okay. Are we done with the porta potties then? So we're down to needing probably 11 or less.
Yep, and I'll reach back out, get another quote, and I can reach out to Sam, and then also, I think that was, oh, Peninsula Bevco, and ask them about their public restrooms.
Right. And we're
Yeah.
not, don't want to assume either, but you know, or overload. I mean, but
Absolutely, yeah.
we'll just try to be wise. Okay, cool, you guys.
Okay.
Thank you. That's a great discussion. Okay, so Kitsap Public Health District temporary permits. Is there anything that needs to be said about that?
Not really. It's more of just, I guess, an FYI. We had in talking about the application and the vendors, or not the vendors, the volunteers who are going to be, you know, dishing out some good food and some drinks. The Kitsap Public Health District did say that I'm pulling up the email. I got a lot of emails to pull up. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. So yeah, so even if we have a vendor, so if I keep calling them vendors, if we have a volunteer and the volunteer for any reason is going to be preparing food or storing it in a commercial type kitchen, they will have to have a temporary food permit. If they're just giving out hot coffee, hot cider, buying cookies from the store and bringing cookies there, they do not need a temporary food permit.
Okay.
The health department did say, and this is the one I'm trying to find. So, you know, if they're just doing coffee, so no permit needed if they just serve drip coffee with shelf stable creamers. If creamer, milk, or alternative milks will be served, then a permit is needed. No permit is needed if cookies are served from their original packaging with, you know, tongs, gloves, tissues, shaking them out of the package into single service items like a napkin, cup, small plates. Deviations from doing that will require that temporary permit. So I believe all of our volunteers fall under the not needing the permit, as it's just the hot coffee and hot chocolate, but just kind of something to keep in mind when we talk to the volunteers and with what they're doing.
Janine, when we did the coffee for Seroptimist, we got that all from Starbucks, but they also gave us the little packages of creamers. So is that doesn't fall under that?
I believe so, because they said no permit needed if they serve just drip coffee with shelf stable creamers. So I believe those little packets are shelf stable.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. So we'll just double check on what the volunteers are bringing.
Yeah.
I bet not. I don't think there's going to be any food prep or anything. Once upon a time, there was chili.
Yes. We had chili when we had Santa over on the lawn area.
Yeah. So that vendor then would need to get a temporary food permit. And I bet they're used to doing that anyway.
And that's what when we were talking to it's Dana at the Kitsap Public Health District, and that most people, yeah, when they have those sort of food items, that they usually are aware of the type of permits they need. But I guess just on our end, we'll just keep that in mind. And when we find out what exactly all the volunteers are doing, we'll just make sure and bring that up and just make sure we're all doing the right thing.
How long does it take to get one? Do you know?
I don't. I can definitely look into it.
Emma's raising her hand.
Oh,
I think you need 30 days warning for Dana.
30?
days. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, that's something we can be checking on.
Perfect.
So hot cider isn't going to require it. I would imagine that popcorn wouldn't require it. I don't know. Kitsap Bank used to have the popcorn machine out there. I don't know if I have no idea about that one.
Yeah, and I'll find out about that one as well, just to make sure we're all
Okay.
covered.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's another good one. So basically, everything would need to be taken care of probably by the end of September, beginning of October, to be able to let them know, because then they'll have to have their permits filled out by the beginning of November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay, so the next item is community connections with Kitsap Bank.
Yeah, so this is the online application and grant that we complete each year. Everything is done online, which is great. And so we just wanted to double check with the committee. I think typically we ask for like $2,000 or $3,000. We've been getting $1,000 from Kids at Bank the last several years, and also what that money will be used for. So just wanted to see what the committee wanted us to go ahead and ask for through the grant, and then what we're going to be doing with it.
Well, I think it wouldn't hurt to ask the 2 to 3,
Okay. Yep.
because this is going to be for next year, not this year.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, yes, for 2023. Yes.
Right. And the thing is, we'll be needing more lights and that sort of thing, because they wear out.
Yeah.
So, and we use it for that, and sometimes we've used extra for some of the prizes. Things that fall in the category that the city can't use because of gifting. And they've been happy to do that. We've talked to them in the past, and they were happy to have those funds used for that. So the ask of 2 to 3, I don't think that seems too greedy. And they give us whatever they feel they want to, and all of it's appreciated. You know,
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
been years of them doing this, which is really a wonderful thing. Plus, they've also had volunteers out with goodies and things like that. I'm not sure if they're going to have a station this year. Do we know?
They are. So yeah, I reached out to Kids at Bank, and yeah, so they are interested in doing something this year. I did give them the information on, you know, if they wanted. Oh, Sharon, did you have? Oh,
no.
sorry. So yeah, but yeah, it looks like they would like to do something. And I think they have several new people this year as their first time, but yeah, they are interested. I just don't know yet what it is they're going to be doing.
Okay, and just FYI, in 2019, they had 3:30 to 5:30 is when they had their hospitality stand open for popcorn and hot cider.
Popcorn and hot cider. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, 3:30 to 5:30 is what they had in the past. Okay,
Oh.
cool. Oh, you know what, Emma? Did you confirm South Kitsap High School Chamber Choir? Does that sound familiar?
I confirmed with them that I didn't get the time slot. In fact, I sent to you just now. But I
Okay.
do have confirmed and all the progress in it.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I'll look at that. I just saw that here now. I went, oh, I forgot to mention them. Okay, good. And
But they were very happy to be in it, so I don't think they'll have an issue with the time.
okay, wonderful. Yay, this is falling into place. Let's see, what else? Janine, can you just go over the the organizations that have volunteered to provide goodies?
Cindy, I
Mhm.
have to jump off and go to another meeting.
Yes,
Can
go
I
ahead.
ask a really quick question?
Yeah.
How many trees are still available, or how many are spoken for, or?
Well, we haven't pushed them at all.
Okay.
So they're probably
Okay.
almost all available except for probably the handful that reserve the same location from last
Okay.
year.
Okay, all right, I'm just getting ready to send out a newsletter and I'll put that in there then.
Perfect.
Okay, and I just have a feeling this year the trees are going to be more secure than they have in the past.
I
don't-
hope so. I can't believe that 2 of them were literally pulled out.
Yeah, you know, the climate has changed a bit and we're just not so COVID-y anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that's it, though. It's just bad people. They're still bad
Vandalism.
people.
Yeah, I know. And it's
So,
a Scottish theme, so it's going to be really fun because there's plaids and things like that.
yeah, I just came back from Scotland and I bought stuff from my tree in Scotland.
Oh, cool.
So,
That's
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
You'll have to give
but-
us a little slideshow sometime.
yeah, but I gotta go. I gotta go
Okay,
on to another
bye.
meeting. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
thanks. Thank
Bye,
you.
Bye.
Corinne. I also need to head out, but if you have any
Okay.
more questions, I can stay if you have them.
I think you probably answered everything in that email. Thank you so much for all of that. Really appreciate it. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. All right.
Okay. So I did
So-
pull up the volunteers of the ones that I have confirmed. So of course, Seroptimist with Miss Sharon King. We have the Bible Baptist Church, they will be. And then Kids at Bank has confirmed. I
Okay.
tried reaching out to Fred, I think it was Heritage Foursquare Church, but the email came back as undeliverable.
Oh, wow.
And let's see here.
Phone number for Pastor Fred.
Oh,
Hang on, let me keep going and I'll look it up.
okay.
Thank you,
And then
Sharon.
was it the Knights of Pythias? I have not heard back. I just left a voicemail. So I'll be calling them again here pretty soon. So, but yeah, the ones we
Okay.
have confirmed are the three so far. Kids at Bank, Bible Baptist, and Seroptimist.
Okay, Pastor Fred's phone number is 360.
Okay. And we do know that the,
Oh, wait, hold on, Sharon, don't release just that. Maybe you can email it to her just because we're recording the meeting and it's a public meeting and I hate to have his number.
Okay, fine.
Or announced.
okay, that makes sense.
Okay,
Thank you, Sharon. And I know that, well, Kathy's not here today, but they still are gonna have the lighted boats. And they're still doing the open house at the marina. And they have goodies too, you guys. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't know how that works. If they need a permit, I don't know. We may be able to have to talk to her about that. I would think that she would know this already though. Sydney Art Gallery is another one to reach out to in the past. They have had an open house with hot chocolate, cider, coffee, and Christmas treats. So let's check with them to find out if they're going to do something.
Who was that? I'm sorry, Cindy, who was that again? Sydney, was that the
Sydney Art Gallery? The
Perfect.
Sydney Art Gallery. And then I didn't, I should have asked Emin this. Usually the library has some kind of goodie. I would imagine they're going to have it again. So we should ask her if there's going to be food. They often have. In fact, I've never known them not to. Okay, let's see. Let me see if there's anything else in here.
And I did, sorry, Cindy, just wanted to bring up in a reminder that we do have the Festival of Chimes and Lights Facebook page now. And so of course we'll be posting stuff through the city, but if any of the vendors, organizations, if they have anything going on for the event that you would like to post, we can absolutely do that. So, if the library is doing stuff, we can post for them, for Seroptimist or just anybody, let us know.
Okay. And that's usually part of our schedule.
Yeah, if they have I don't know if each organization has a flyer or something that they're promoting. I know sometimes the library will say or have the puppet between 6 and 5 and then crafts between 6 and 8 or whatever. But if they do their own little flyer, send it to Janine and we'll post it on the Chimes and Lights Facebook page.
Cool.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Around October is when we're going to start pushing weekly, every other week, different events, different cute little sayings to get people down there.
Okay. And I know we should probably ask Terry Bonsteger or Bontrager about the use of the vintage fire truck again. That's through the Saints. Usually Roger, I deal with Roger. I haven't talked to him about that. He allowed the truck to be downtown last year. So I'm guessing he'll probably okay it. He just, it's a very special thing to him. So we'll have to reach out and find out if he feels comfortable with that. Marching band, I talked to Gary last year at the end of the year, and I've had a few exchanges earlier in the year, but I'm going to confirm the marching band, what they're going to be playing, that kind of thing. But he's on for that.
And then Cindy, for the chimes from the clock tower, what time would you like those played? And are you going to have a set list?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll kind of set up something like we did before.
Perfect. It wasn't Mike the line that you were working with?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So we usually have chimes play at noon that day, and we'll try to coordinate the time for when they should play. That's always the trickiest thing. Yeah, but that night there should be at least some kind of chimes that play, and we'll get that. Let's see, where do I have it? Playing of the chimes between 5:20 and 5:30. So we do our lighting then with a 10, 9, 8, and then we do the chimes. So it's probably right about 5:20 to 5:25. We do that countdown.
Perfect. Okay. Sorry, just getting my notes down here.
Okay. that is it for right now. I think we're doing pretty well. We do still have money for our brochure this year in the budget, right? Even with all the money things we spent.
I will defer to Miss Brandy on that one.
Okay. She's looking it up.
I'm sorry, what was, hold on.
Do we still have money in the budget for the brochure?
Oh, I'm sure we do, whatever
Okay.
it has been, I think.
And the advertising is all still there?
Yeah, all that stuff has not
Okay.
changed.
Okay, cool. All right, just double checking. Don't want to assume anything. Good. Okay, you guys, I think we have covered a lot of ground. This is really good. So I'm looking at this. I will just confirm a few of these things on the time, working on the time. We do have an honorary tree lighter in mind, and we'll see if this person is going to be able to make it. Somebody who's connected with our community for a long time. It would make a lot of sense and be cool. So let you know on that one. You always risk that they're still around, but we'll have a better idea next time.
Perfect.
Okay, that's it. Kathy Garcia, then I think we just need to hear from her about some of her times, and then those times will also go into the brochure. And I'm sure they have some kind of flyer.
Perfect. And then did you still want to meet the third Monday in September? I think it's the 19th.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Fine with me.
Yes. Yes.
We'll,
Keep that. Yep.
okay.
Okay,
All right.
good. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. The meeting is adjourned and it was a good one. Thank you for attending. Rita, you've been quiet today. Sharon, thank you for all you've contributed, and city staff, you guys rock. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.